Hey, one World Entertainment, and we have an update on Alien Romulus 2. Whether or not it's actually going to be called that or not, we don't know. Probably won't, but whatever. This comes on the news that they've fixed, is what they've said, fixed the Rook scenes in Alien Romulus for home release. The Rook, for, I suppose, spoiler if you haven't seen it, but I'm sure you've probably seen the images at this stage, is another version of Ash. It's Ian Holmes, but he looked weird in the movie. And he was one of the main things I didn't like about the movie. If he was there for like a minute, it would have been fine, but he wasn't. He ended up playing a big role in the movie, which I don't understand why they did that. But with that coming out and Fede Alvarez talking about it, and what he said about it actually was good, because he didn't attack fans and he didn't go after people when people complained about that stuff. You know what I mean? When people were like, that part was terrible, and like, why would you have done that and stuff? They went in a very different direction. He actually come out and said, now, yeah, we actually ran out of time to make that look the way we wanted it to. So now we had the time, so we fixed it for the home release. To be honest, I don't really see much of a difference. One kind of looks a bit clearer, maybe, you know, but it still looks a bit dodgy, to be honest with you. I still don't agree with that whole moment and character being there. But the fact that he's addressed the mistakes, like he has said, oh yeah, look, we made a few mistakes in that movie and people called us out on it, and we accept that, and we'll try and fix that when we can and stuff like that. So he didn't go out and go, oh, it's just toxic fans, they don't know what they want until we give it to them, blah blah blah. But now he's talking about this next movie, and what he says, it's getting people excited, while at the same time I'm thinking, okay, that sounds good, but it's the execution that will be important, as well as what and where are you going to put it, because that will be important for what he says. So let's have a look at this. So it says, ahead of the release of their upcoming issue, Empire has posted a couple of snippets from a new interview with Alien Romulus writer-director Fede Alvarez, in which they discussed the reception of the film, its controversial aspects, which is the whole Rook thing and the ending, and the upcoming sequel. In a new snippet shared by Empire, Fede Alvarez confirmed that he and his writing partner, Rodo, I'm not even going to attempt to say his second name, who was a co-writer on Romulus, are hard at work on the sequel. So here's the first part of what he says. Rodo and I are working on that right now. We're excited about where it can go. We almost checked all of the boxes of things that I wanted to see in Romulus, and brought back a lot of the things I hadn't seen in a while. Wherever we go now, we can go into uncharted waters. Now that's the first part, and that's the part that's quite important, which we will come back to when we finish this, is the uncharted waters. Alvarez also hinted to Empire that Alien Romulus sequel will return to Rain and Andy, making this the first Alien film in quite some time to feature returning protagonists. I don't know why they write it like that, because no, it isn't, because all the movies had returning protagonists. David returned, for instance, in Prometheus the Covenant, so that would have been the last time. So I don't know why they're almost making it sound like, oh, it hasn't happened since Alien Resurrection. So what he said to that is, I think it'll be so exciting to go with characters you know from this movie to a place in the Alien franchise that we've never been before, and to discover things that you've never seen before. So that's an interesting part. The writer-director also reiterated a point he'd made previously, that just because Alien Romulus was successful, it didn't mean they had to make a follow-up, but that he would only want to return if he had something worthy of Alien. And what he said to that was, the mistake usually with sequels is to make them because you can, and because of the success of Romulus, we definitely can make a sequel. But I wouldn't do it unless we had a really good idea for it. Something that's worthy of the title. So that's also good to hear. He's not saying we're doing it because the first one was successful, so they just gave us the green light and off we go, we're going to do another one. No, he's literally saying if we can't get this one right, there's no point in doing it. Now, that's not to say he's not going to make a movie, put it on the screen and people go, what the hell is this? Which brings us back to this whole thing of going into the uncharted waters. And this is why I think this part of what he says is quite important. For the fact that this is a sequel to Romulus, which means where and how are they going to do that? How are they going to go about uncharted waters? The places we've never seen is easy, but to see the things we've never seen as well. Because is this still going to be in between Alien and Aliens? Is he going to move it forward and have it between Aliens and Alien 3? Is he going to go even further? We don't know, because the trip that Rain and Andy are on is supposed to take, I can't quite remember whether it's 7 or 9 years. I think it's 7. Or maybe it's actually 9 and they only had the fuel for 7. That's why they had to go deeper into the station. Either way, it's just under a decade. Which means they would still be in between Alien and Aliens. So if that's the case, you're not really opening it up to where you can just do whatever the hell you want, because there's still stuff ahead of it then that you could end up affecting. Like the fact that we're seeing in this movie the black oil crap. Immediately everyone went, why did you introduce that? And why did you already have xenomorphs being found and stuff between Alien and Aliens? We don't quite know. He doesn't really touch on that, at least in these snippets. Who knows what he goes into in the full article whenever that comes out. But the fact that he wants to go into Uncharted, he wants to do something different. And I think that will please a lot of people, because a lot of the kind of backlash for the people who didn't like, or at least particularly like, Alien Romulus was they very much felt it's just too much of a rehash of better stuff. Like, oh, that scene is just from Alien, that scene is from Aliens. Especially when it got to the get away from her, you bitch. Everyone just rolled their eyes to that. Even I rolled my eyes at that. When he jumped down and Andy says it, I was like, oh my god, really? And of course, it's done in such a natural way in Aliens, and this one just felt very forced. But there was a lot of different things kind of sprinkled throughout that were just kind of remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this. Even the bad shit. Like, hey, you remember Prometheus and Covenant? Here's some of that crap. What about Alien Resurrection? Because that was such a hit. Here, have something from that. The fact that this movie ended with comparisons to Alien Prometheus, or Covenant and Prometheus, and Alien Resurrection, it was just like, oh. Which is why I say I like Alien Romulus, but that whole third act is dog shit. They, like, shit the bed with it. So hopefully they don't just kind of try and basically copy the homework of, oh, we'll just repeat what we done. Because that's where this will fail. If they just repeat everything they did in this movie, in terms of, like, oh, you gotta have member berries just everywhere, I think will be stupid. I think if he continues trying to do storylines that include Prometheus and Covenant, I think it won't work. It will be stupid. And if he's saying the right things off, oh, we made a few mistakes and we've heard the criticisms and stuff, then 100% he has to take on board that nobody wanted and enjoyed the black oil crap being back in this thing, and nobody enjoyed that thing at the end. What did they call it? The new breed or whatever. It's just like, Jesus Christ. So hopefully he ignores that. To be honest, hopefully he gets away from Ridley Scott. Just don't have Ridley Scott a part of this next one, because you could see where his influences were coming in. So if they can do that and really hone in on something different, but give us some, like, obviously it has to be familiar. We still want xenomorph stuff, but something different particularly stuff we've never seen before and crap like that. Cool. I'm all for it. Don't rehash what you've done. I still don't like the idea of sticking with Andy and Rain because, as far as I'm concerned, their story was done. I don't see why or how their story could continue. But time will tell, and it'll be very interesting when he starts talking a bit more about what the idea will be for this next movie. More specifically, where and when it's going to be set. I think that'll be very important. So, with that, I will leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.